you want to see. But first, Team Envy needs to break through on NRG. McGravy has been playing pretty great overall for Team Envy, one of the more consistent members of that team. Trill, though, hasn't really shown up like he did in World Cup so far this season.
A World Cup, one of those great times to highlight players who you don't see that often, but Trill, unfortunately, he is still adjusting. We do have him here in NA along with his other teammates. But, there is going to be a little bit of that adjustment time, but Envy need him right now to be that standout main tank. They're doubling down, actually, on the main tank. Look, McGravy going to be on that Winston as well.
And we're talking about Team Envy for so long. NRG Esports is rocking an awesome team composition right now. This used to be the land of snipers. Double sniper used to be what you saw on Ruin. So many really good sightlines. Kevster trying to do it, but right now he's just helping his team butter them up. Team Envy taking that bullet damage. Eventually those wall hacks are going to come in too.
Oh, wall hacks are going to be huge. Again, talking about positioning, that's going to be key. And also just, Crimzo and Fire are both very vulnerable to those headshots from Kevster. NRG going to be running that threat in the backline as well with Azire on this Sombra, nearly 50% to that EMP already.
The reason why we're laughing is Stan was literally standing, doing his namesake, and just holding left click and getting some damage in there. Byram, though, is going to get that first kill, but Team Envy will be responding with 2 of their own. Kevster not able to make a ton of noise on that Widowmaker. We're seeing exactly why she's kind of fallen out of the meta. Too many shields. The heads aren't just available for her to shoot. McGravy, though, is taken very low. Somehow is still alive. Team Envy do own the point.
Yeah, that is going to be the good news here. Stan1 actually maybe did not get the memo. Gonna pop a Primal Rage, try and sow a little bit of discord. Maybe wanted to take advantage of the opening while McGravy wasn't in mech. Oh, gets the juggle. Sharp gonna be going off the cliff.
And Kevster's gonna get the headshot on it to a Fire, so that's already 3 kills for NRG Esports. Team Envy are definitely on the back foot. McGravy will be getting that kill onto Kevster, so there will be an opportunity just for a short, not anymore. McGravy got de-mech'd. I was about to say there would be an opportunity where they would have a full 6 versus a 5 for like 5 seconds, but it don't matter no more.
I mean, there is an opportunity for Hello, I'm Halo to get some ult charge with that boop kill. We've seen Lucio's come in clutch in the last series, and NRG right now running a clinic. Azire has that EMP at the ready, can literally drop it at any time, but no, it's going to be Byram just finding that vanilla volley onto Jaru. Zenyatta Brigitte, that's not something that's not a head-to-head you would usually think goes the Zenyatta's way.
Hey, but Byram has been known to get that momentum in his hands and throw those orbs into those heads, and we saw it right there. NRG Esports still rocking that Widowmaker right now. Kevster looking for those heads. Remember, shoot head for head. That's how you play Widowmaker. Azire still has that EMP. Haven't had an opportunity. Haven't actually needed to use it thus far, but Trill is going to use that Primal Rage. Does get stunned, but thanks to that reduced cooldown, is going to be coming back up. EMP was dropped. The hacks weren't quite there. Trill's going to get hacked the old-fashioned way, and Kevster's going to escape with his life. Trill taking to 29 health, and the Sound Barrier will be saving him in at the end. Team Envy, though, with those extra shields, are in a stronger spot, but not for much longer. Is NRG going to use that Sound Barrier as well? Stan1, though, getting saved by that Transcendence, but not for long, as he's going to go down to that self-destruct. So this is a 6v5 for Team Envy. This is a great opportunity for them to flip this around, and now that Smex has gone down, Team Envy will be taking this point. They just got to do their due diligence and take the rest of the team out.
Brooms out, Envy do clean up the point. NRG, though, making things really interesting. They are on the cusp of taking this first round, this sub-map. 99% here. Trill just gonna be, just the Winston mating dance. Jaru will have the rally at any moment, should choose to rejoin. Trill choose to rejoin that team, but Kevster will have popped that Widow sight, so this is going to be an open season for supports. Crimzo, ooh, half health, taken incredibly low.
Azire was taken very low as well, as Fire is not gonna get headshotted, but is going to have to take a little bit more of that healing from that rally. Jaru now giving everyone armor. Trill taken very, very low. Does have a little bit more damage mitigation now. EMP has been dropped from NRG Esports. Is it going to be enough for Team Envy to go back to their spawn? The Transcendence is going to say no, as it wasn't affected by that EMP. That is like your job on Sombra, to make sure that the Zenyatta is EMP'd. Kevster, though, going to even this thing up with Trill going down back to spawn. Sharp now going down as well. NRG Esports now have the numbers, and they potentially might have this round.
It's looking more and more likely. No supports, no tanks, no bodies left for Envy to try and hold on to this point. Overtime now, and McGravia is still quite far away from that crucial stalling self-destruct.
But Trill is going to be able to use that Primal Rage on the objective. The Sound Barrier is going to make sure that he's going to stay alive for a little bit longer, but not for long, as he's going to go through all of that HP during that Primal Rage. NRG Esports looking quite good on the point right now. 6v5. Kevster also has those wall hacks, so they know exactly where Team Envy is trying to come in. That's a huge advantage for them, as Vision without that Hanzo and Widowmaker in Goats has been really underestimated in terms of what the information that it provides. Kevster now getting fire once again. Team Envy, though, trying to come back here, but the kills are coming down strong for NRG Esports. They now have to do their due diligence and get everyone off of the point. This fight has lasted a very long time. Once they clean it up, they will win the round.
Yeah, and that Hammond down out of the fight, and NRG will take that early lead on Ruins. Envy, you know, it's not really, it's a team game, so not going to be laying too much blame, but there were a couple of moments that stood out to me just from that main tank standpoint. Trill, we saw from Kevster's point of view with that scope trained on the monkey. You see him leap over that wall off of the objective and land on the other side of those blocks. That's, you know, you're going to be breaking line of sight with your Lucio, with your Zenyatta, with the rest of your team. It's a very difficult place to be. We saw a couple of instances of overextension from Trill in that round. It is definitely not the entire reason that MV struggled, but it is something to watch out for now as we head to Well.
And so Kevster, while didn't have those like hyper momentum building moments on it, that Widowmaker was doing his job. The kills weren't coming from the Widow, but he was helping those kills go from everywhere else. NRG Esports as desire on it, that Hanzo. We saw this look from XL2. It didn't work for them. Let's see if it's going to be a little bit more effective for NRG. With the boot kill on it to a Trill, it's going to be a lot easier for them, but they haven't pushed back into the health pack room. They haven't been able to make their tent yet. They're not going glamping just yet. They're just getting to the spot still, and without getting to the spot before Team Envy is able to win this fight, I don't see this team comp working.
Oh, it looked like it would have been doom for the Envy supports right there. That's right, Fire, absolutely living up to your namesake. Crimzo able to take down stand one. Just, you know, good old left clicks there, and Envy now have this advantage. NRG, we've seen the McCree come out before on Well in the earlier series. Kevster's going to need that room, that setup, or not. Crimzo goes down to the Cowboy right away.
Yeah, and Orisa is forced to she was forced to set up in the high ground, which is not the best position for her, but now they're going to be able to get on it to the point and do what they needed to do at the beginning of this round. NRG Esports will be owning this point in just a second with Deadeye and Self-Destruct available, along with Transcendence. They have what it takes to keep it, but if they get booped into the Well, it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, there is going to be a small window of opportunity, but with Fire going down, no speed boost for MB to try and capitalize. This is exactly where you want to be when you're setting up with this Cushion the Cowboy composition. You want to be on the defensive end, able to move that shielding where you want as MB try and engage, get that good setup for your High Noon. I mean, NRG, even if the High Noon fails, they have so many more ultimates to draw on.
Oh, here it is. The Deadeye is out, but the bubble's going to go right over him, so the Deadeye's not going to get any value. Stand one, though, going to find the first kill in this fight as a 6v5. The rest of Team Envy are going to follow suit into the Well, and that boop actually on it to Jaru is important. Smex will already have self-destruct, but would have gotten that ultimate credit.
Yeah, Fire as well. This is just, oh man, he's just haunting Kevster's nightmares right now. This is the second boop onto the McCree. Again, though, just a consolation kill. MV slowly building up that ultimate bank, but NRG nearly at 50%. It is time to pull the trigger on this Graviton Surge from Sharp. Get something going here. Draw out some of those support ultimates from Hilo and Byron.
And there is no Graviton Surge for NRG, so there isn't that big unwilling hug to set up the rest of the team. Team Envy now is going to be aggressive. He's going to drop that Graviton and Surge, and will be getting about two. Crimso's going to go down, but so is Hello, I'm Halo, so both teams functioning with one less support. Sound Barrier invested for Team Envy. They really want to try to take this point. The High Noon is out. Let's see those skulls. The bubble is there, but it came down just in time for Trill to get that Deadeye kill onto his head. Sharp, though, getting stand one is evening this up, so a tank for a tank, a support for a support at this point. It is very, very even for both teams. NRG Esports do own the points, so we are at 81%. If they're able to win this fight outright, they will be winning the map.
Yeah, very likely, but Team Envy wisely ceding that space, waiting for the full regroup. They're running on fumes right now, no ultimates to their name. NRG, though, the same could be said for the enemy team. A deep dive from Trill.
The Fan the Hammer in 2018, my friends, almost 2019. So it's going to be a lot better in 2019, by the way. So NRG Esports now with those first 2 kills, Sharp going down into the well as well. Team Envy functioning only with 4 members, so NRG Esports have an advantage. They would need to lose this fight themselves and let Team Envy back, but I don't see that happening. The Boop is going to put McGravy back on it too at the point. They got to get this D-Mech. They got to clean it out because at this point, they're not. Smex is going to be very close to losing that mech, and he is. So right now, it is even. Transcendence coming out for Team Envy. The Supercharger from Stand 1 is a really great ultimate to get the rest of the HP from Team Envy to go to 0. Has that damage boost, and now the Graviton Surge from Team Envy is locking a lot of NRG Esports a little bit off of the point. Team Envy now has the HP they need to come back onto this point and take it back, and it looks like that's exactly what we're going to see.
Oh, the Battle Bongo down, all of that damage boost gone for NRG, who had Kevster on a Desperation Tracer coming back into it, and Envy, when their backs were against the wall, once again that pressure came down and they delivered. Trill now ready with a Primal Rage. Once again, he's going to be hunting for his own boops. He himself has tasted, you know, that bitter, unforced spelunking, I guess you would call it, from Hello, I'm Halo. You really got to be watching those jump packs. So many times Trill has used that ability to engage only to get booped into the well, no way to save himself.
Yeah, and Trill just needs to get that trajectory on a tap because he's been booped and discombobulated quite a bit, even in the first round of this map. And we seem to just lose that momentum right there. Primal Rage now to sow Discord into the backline of NRG Esports. Remember, they do own the point right now. They have to win this round to keep Ilios going, and it looks like they're going to keep trying, but they did invest a couple ultimates into that fight, but they will have Transcendence and McGravy's self-destruct for the next one.
Yeah, that self-destruct can be pretty big. Stand 1, a very immobile hero. If you take down that Orisa shield and you lob that self-destruct just right, you may be able to get something done. It's going to be even easier to find the kill if Sharp can get a Graviton Surge within this next fight. NRG themselves now on the back foot.
And so NRG Esports, they have to make something happen. They have to find that pick or else they are not going to win at this round. Team Envy now with that Transcendence is well prepared to handle NRG's defense. Kevster, though, getting very close to that Deadeye. If he's going to be able to get a pick off of that, that could open things up for NRG. The Graviton Surge, though, is going to get a lot of NRG Esports within that Graviton Gravity. 4 kills, 3.5 for Team Envy. They will be taking the round, and we're going to be going to round 3 once again here on Control.
Indeed, Areno. Graviton Gravity. Did you come up with that yourself?
Yeah, that's again. We talked about low-hanging fruit yesterday. That is the. I had to dig that one from underground.
Yeah, breaking out the shovel and everything. But you're absolutely right, Boop. NRG did not have the threat of a Grav on their side and either of these rounds, and now we're going to finally see Kevster onto that Zarya. The McCree Gambit was working great when NRG was on the defense, but when it was time to break through that Team Envy death ball, they had a really hard time with that Cowboy. So it's going to be back to some goats. I'm not sure if Desire is going to be sticking with his Doom Fist. We may see. You got to give it like a couple of good seconds. All right, okay, we're going to say, yeah, that's right.
Second,
we see 2% on that Meteor Strike charge, and we're going to be all right. We're rolling, and this is actually great. Once again, if NRG are able to pressure that point, take that capture first, Desire is going to have all the room in the world, all the walls he wants.
Oh, the bubble didn't last it just a little too long. Did get the contact, but we're already at 40% on this ultimate. The Discord Orb is on the Brigitte. The shield was enough to block those left-hand shots, but the damage has been done. Team Envy scared of Desire so far, and look at that ult charge.
Really close to that Meteor Strike, 60%, way ahead of anybody on the rest of Team Envy right there. But, Jaru biting back. Sharp is going to be a Zarya Brigitte trade, and NRG, as quickly as they took that objective, they're going to have to give it up. Yeah,
we saw exactly what happens when Doofus misses all of his abilities, right, and then gets put on cooldown. He just has to wait, right? And then when you're waiting, you're not doing that damage. So Desire unable to make any type of impact once those cooldowns were gone.
And not just, not able to make any impact himself, but requiring resources from the rest of the team in order to keep him up. And that is precious healing that Byram wants to be putting on the head of Stand 1 instead. NRG now have to make some kind of opening. Desire is really close to that Doomfist Meteor Strike, but with the death of Byron and Smex as well, this is a deficit that NRG cannot come back from.
Well, they had no health like immediately after leaving spawn, so it's going to make it a lot harder to break through. We're at a level of Overwatch here that any mistake, they can take advantage of it. It's about the consistency of identifying those mistakes, and NRG made a mistake there. They took too much damage, but now they're coming in with 6 ultimates. Unfortunately, Team Envy will have 5, possibly 6 of their own to come into this point, so we have a 6-pack versus a 6-pack. The first ultimate we see is going to be Shark's Graviton Surge, and then an Earth Shatter will be following. Self-destruct is next. We see Brigitte get moved all the way back to the team. Meteor Strike, though, we call that the Space Jam. Not going to be doing anything from it. He's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. The cooldowns do hit. The fist is back up, but the HP is a little too high for Team Envy to take any casualties. The uppercut will make contact, but Smex is going to go down, and we know this pattern. Once the Brig is down, everyone else will follow here as Team Envy are still winning this fight, but NRG will have one more.
Yeah, I was so unlucky. You saw the Space Jam go off without a hitch, but it wasn't enough to cut through all of the overshields from Fire right there. And now, at the very last fight, Azara will be swapping onto his own Brigitte. Really clutch play from Jario as well. Just want to point it out, a counter charge onto stand 1 to keep Trill alive throughout that fight. Could have been really different if Envy lost their main tank.
But it seems to be a pattern for NRG going into these pushes with no ultimate. Stand 1's going to have an enormous shatter, but his health isn't there, and their feet aren't on the point. And so they lost a member very early on and then decided to take a little bit of a break, but the break was a little too long, missed it by a smidge or a foot, but they didn't get to the point.
Exactly. It took a little bit of a break at work, but Athena's always watching, man. Saw it, and that nobody on the point to keep it alive. And maybe we are just today, you know, it is the last day of broadcast before the great break, and it's just a time of upsets. Team Envy, we got to point out, they also have no series wins to their name, but they've just taken a map off of NRG, who are currently sitting at 2-1. So really impressive stuff from the underdog.
Yeah, stand 1 doing some good work for NRG, but it wasn't consistent enough. Team Envy, you know, Trill finally popping off there on the last 2 rounds of Ilios.
Great fire strikes to take down Brigittas. That's one of those things the shield's not going to be really helping you with. And just really good staging, good team play from Envy overall. We saw, you know, some of the same things that we've come to expect from this team. Some, you know, a little bit out there charges, Trill kind of going in deep. But the difference here in this time around was that the rest of the team had his back. Everybody was clumped up. That death ball was working like a well-oiled machine.
Well, and I think that's some comments that we've made in the past when we've watched Team Envy is Trill's making these decisions. They could be the right decisions, but the rest of the team having a hard time identifying if that's the actual case or not. But this time, trusting Trill a little bit more and Team Envy benefiting from it.
Exactly. It's just about being on the same page. This is it, Chief. That has to be that mindset for all of Team Envy moving into the next map, which is hybrid. Kind of plays into the Envy hands a little bit more. They have had their strongest looks on those linear maps.
But the thing about NRG that was very interesting is just somehow on their last push, they would be walking in with no ultimates. It was very consistent, weirdly consistent, because a lot of things have to happen in order for that to happen. But with character swaps and the way just the previous fight with, NRG was pretty much locked out of those points before they even got to them.
Yeah, it was, you know, a really unfortunate hand dealt to them earlier on in the map. They're kind of reaping, you know, the rewards towards the very end when it is that overtime push, and it really, every single ultimate counts. And if you don't really have any on tap, it's going to be really difficult. Even a rally, just to be able to give that little bit of armor, so you don't have to be, you don't have to be worrying necessarily. Like, just try and barrel through the enemy team, get onto that objective.
And so NRG Esports rocking a couple characters that we don't see very frequently. Actually, we've had a pretty good day in terms of character representation. We've seen a lot of Pharah. We got to see Kevster on that Widowmaker. We saw him on McCree as well. We saw Orisa on Well. So we've gotten a lot of variety today, which has been quite refreshing. But, you know, it's so weird, and I'm being honest about this, and I don't know why. I'm like watching these other comps, but like I kind of miss Goats.
Oh my God, you're gonna be that guy. All right,
sorry.
You know, Goats was actually a pretty good meta. It is a pretty good meta. To be honest, there's a lot of really nuanced plays that I think we're just now finally starting to digest, to savor. Right? It's
Goats
like when
do
you
taste good if you've ever had a goat.
Oh no, yeah, Goats do. Anyways, but I was gonna say like a fine wine, where you're like, oh, the notes of tobacco. Anyhow, NRG is no, okay, all right. Stand 1 going to be swapping onto a slightly more conventional main tank pick with the Reinhardt. Smex going to be picking up, Spec's going to be picking up the Reinhardt. All right, we see a little bit of a swap around here. Likely NRG want to be able to flex Stand 1 onto a hero that he's incredibly comfortable with, and hey, what do you know?
Hey, listen to you, right? Stand 1 getting that first blood of this map, and there's going to be a lot more blood being spilled onto the objective right now as NRG Esports coming alive here on their first push. Byron finishing things out. Team Envy losing this first point on the first fight.
That's a filthy fight, man. Those floors are covered. NRG just mouse wanting, W and mouse wanting forward, and Envy getting taken a little bit off guard. We saw, you know, NRG, again, this is a team that is completely willing to flex their compositions. We saw the Widowmaker, the Sombra earlier, and now they're going to be running that double main tank, but with their main tank on the Winston instead.
Oh, 95 energy for Kevster, and that's why you're seeing him chew it through Trill's HP just like that. NRG Esports are going to maintain their momentum. This is bad news for Team Envy, as this spot's one of the greatest to defend.
It would be, unless you're coming up against a team that will cycle those big ultimates, everything nearly online for NRG. And Team Envy, you got to ask yourself at this point, is McGravy's Diva really worth it right here? You can't matrix that hammer damage. You can't do anything against that Tesla cannon damage. And NRG right now, they have just been going through Team Envy like a ripe melon.
Kester's going to use the wheelbarrow to drop that Graviton Surge and grab a lot of Team Envy within it. Fire is going to be going down without that AoE healing and that speed. It's going to be really hard for Team Envy to disengage here. They're just going to have to feed themselves, as that's exactly what we're going to see, as NRG Esports are going to win this fight outright, and they're going to be prepared for the next one too.
I mean, somebody's cut the brakes to this car. I'm worried about the executive, because NRG have not been stopped at all since they've rolled onto point A and looking to put up an incredibly impressive time bank into B. Team Envy, though, finally they're starting to get a few of their own ultimates. This might will be where NRG finally find themselves stopped.
Oh, and the Earthshatter was trying to be cheeky, but didn't find any cheeks there. Just air was a field goal. Yeah, Kevster, but both the Reinhardts are going to be going down, so no shields available for either side. Sound Barrier is going to be launched as well for NRG Esports. Team Envy still have theirs if they so choose to use it on this defense, but they've already gotten the second point. NRG Esports has, so they got the 2 points, and so now they can just reset and try this again.
Yeah, and Team Envy going to be backing off a little bit. They don't want to get caught unawares by the respawns from the rest of NRG, as they will be very much closer. Envy letting that point slip through their fingers when they had a really solid, winnable fight right in front of them. Now they're going to have to burn some of these support ultimates.
That was a beautiful Graviton Surge to get every single member of Team Envy, but will they be able to confirm those kills? Jaru is down. Once that Brig is down, there's a lot of utility that is going to be missing for the rest of Team Envy. McGravy already demeched and going back to spawn. Crimzo taken very, very low. Eventually, he will be going back to spawn. Sandone has the Primal Rage if he so chooses it. Oh, very good bubble to keep that volley from going into his head, because I think Zenyatta could have taken that without that shield.
Might have, you know, those sneaky Omnics and their tricksy ways. NRG, they have plenty of ultimates to close this out. One of the more difficult points to finish here on Hybrid. Team Envy, they've used the Transcendence already, and now it's going to be, their defense going to be hanging off of Fire's Sound Barrier.
Trill does have that Earthshatter. Smex is going to use his first of the Particle Barrier, saving that Brigitte as well as the armor and the rally, but Team Envy is going to use that Sound Barrier, and finally, for the first time this round, is going to get a defense. So this has actually been going since point A. The momentum hasn't stopped until right now.
Oh no, Team Envy have finally started to lurch forward a little bit, find that footing. A great Earthshatter from Trill, helping them solidify that defense. And NRG now, you know, maybe they got a little bit too overeager, spent basically everything that they had in that push, but why not? You have 4 minutes on the clock and tons of time to build them up again.
The Fire Strike only going to make contact with the wall. It feels bad. We've all done it. Stand 1, though, going to find his ult charge in a different way, as he's going to be aggressive here. The particle barriers are down for NRG Esports. Sharp's going to throw that Graviton Surge, and is going to get to the backline. Desire is going to get the first kill onto Trill. The Transcendence is going to keep the rest of NRG Esports alive. This is 65, now it's a 5v5. This is going to benefit the defense. If everyone survives this Graviton Surge, Team Envy are looking good for this fight, but now they're trading those kills. I am wrong, my friends. NRG Esports has those 2 kills there. They almost have it, 2 at the end. They're only 1.78 meters left. Again, they just have to clean this up, and they got this under control. They do finish the map 3 points for NRG Esports on Hollywood. Where did this momentum and tempo come from?
Oh man, it's like, you know, you're just going down that hill and suddenly the bicycle starts picking up momentum. NRG, they only had a couple of those support ultimates to their name, but they were able to leverage that advantage over Team Envy, who again seemed a little bit caught off guard. You had the Zenyatta from Crimzo, yeah, kept all of the team alive, healthy throughout that fight, but because that cart was so incredibly close to the end of the map, Team Envy had to come through and, you know, just put their faces into that damage regardless of what it was to just try and contest the objective.
So Team Envy now know what they have to do. That 3 minutes and 18 seconds is a large time bank for them to compete with, but hey, that can definitely happen. NRG Esports want to maintain that momentum, and so on the defense, they just don't want to give any to Team Envy.
Exactly. They're working against the time bank, that silent, invisible 7th player on the field. And this is easier said than done. We saw a full hold in game 1 of today. So Envy, they can't be taking anything for granted, even though they're coming up against that GOATS composition, something that they've played against multiple times now at this point.
And so I got my wish, guys. GOATS is back. Let's see if I'm going to eat my words. We'll find out. There's something about it I like. NRG Esports.
They're cute. That's
maybe,
it.
Maybe that's what it is. NRG Esports on the defense, trying to maintain control of this map with 3 minutes and 18 seconds in that time bank. Like you said, that 7th man has got to be there, and Team Envy has to be aware of it. But for right now, grabbing point A is their goal. It's all about short-term and long-term goals, right? Their short-term goal is to grab this point A, and their long-term is to grab the series win. They are up 1-0 right now after winning Ilios on control earlier today. Sharp is going to be throwing those grenades into the team, trying to get to those Graviton Surges, which in the past have been hyper impactful, but now seems to just be what you do in these fights. The Transcendence and Sound Barriers have been going on in the back very, very well, and to counter these bigger ults like those Earth Shatters and those Graviton Surges. And look at stand 1. I wonder if we're going to see a pause here in just a second. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, a little bit. Stand 1, unfortunately, this is not the time to be a tree hugger, show that eco-friendliness. A little stuck on the wall there. It is going to be a disconnect, so we'll just go to a quick pause.
Well, I mean, it could have been the opposite of tree hugging, to be honest. He was swinging his sword into the tree, and I don't know what that tree did. Oh, his hammer.
There we go.
That's right. I don't know what that tree did. They must have done something bad, right?
Insulted mothers, that's always a classic, I'm just going to say. But yeah, Trill, though, I will say, you know, playing a really good game throughout that defensive round. Now we got to see how he's going to leverage that in the end. Oh, this is not going to be, you know, bearing my words true, as this was the roll from NRG onto this point A of Hollywood. Really good stuff right there. The tempo, the pacing. It's one of those things, Boop, when you like go into something expecting to meet like that certain kind of dance, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna do a tango, but surprise, they're doing the waltz now. And it really is just being able to be aggressive unexpectedly, and sometimes that can simply be walking forward when the enemy team is like, oh, they're going to be juking back and forth across this corner. Surely, it's right? Like everybody does it.
It's like the trading montage was for the wrong thing, right? Exactly. Like that would be such a feels bad, right? You're like, you know, you go through like the different sections. You know, you start, and then like you don't really know anything and what's going on. You find your partner, love gets brought into everything. You really find yourself, right? And it's a growing story, but by the end of it, you realize that it was a race and not a dance competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you put on your climbing shoes, but it was a sprint. It was a 100-meter as well. Yeah, so it does seem to be that NRG right now kind of playing, you know, with house money. They've already finished out that map, so they know that even if it heads into extra innings, they're going to get another shot to attack. So it's a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Team Envy right now, in particular the shoulders of Trill, which are getting, you know, a little bit, you know, smushed down by all of that weight. We would really love to see some more resources applied to that main tank, and we are back in the game, folks. NRG on the defense. Team Envy going to be looking for another map completion to pad that win.
And so they were able to get stand 1 while he was DC'd. That's just how the name of the game goes. Take advantage of that, right? So NRG Esports will be losing this first point. Stand 1 is going to have to reset that ult charge, but he is back on the point. The stall is happening, but he is going to go back to spawn immediately. Team Envy also will have 5 ultimates. Trill could get that Earth Shatter and 4 or 5 hammer swings and get it back to get that full 6 stack of ultimates.
And I would just love to point out McGravy trying to be that pit bull, would not let hello, I'm hella out of here, get out of there. But the Lucio did escape. He's going to have the sound barrier as well. That would have been a painful, painful stagger for NRG if they lost one of their supports, especially when he has ult. As Team Envy are going to be trying to do the same here on Streets Phase, do not want to lose that momentum. They're going to be barreling in here. Graviton at the ready.
The Graviton Surge is going to go into Team Envy on it to the payload. The self-destruct is there and will be grabbing Sharp. So this is 6v5 for NRG Esports. This is a really great way to take momentum away from a Team Envy. They don't invest a ton into it. They invest those 2 ultimates, but they will have 3 online. Team Envy still has what they need as well, but with 2 support ultimates on NRG, they could maintain and withstand what Team Envy brings.
That is just really good value. NRG drew that Transcendence out from Crimzo, even though he's already nearly 40% back to his next one already. That's going to be 1 ult off the table for when Kevster does eventually get that Graviton Surge, but right now it's going to be all eyes on Sharp.
And so the Graviton Surge this time will be coming from Team Envy. McGravy taking very low as he's out of that mech just for now, but it was because of a self-destruct that did find some value. Hello, I'm Halo, or I'm hella out of here, as you like to say. That was amazing, by the way. It's going to be going back to spawn. Jaru is going to follow suit. Team Envy will be ahead in this fight so far. Earthshatter not going to find any value. The Discord Orb was on Kevster, and that's going to be why he's going to be going back to spawn as well. The Discord Orb shows you that focus, but really in the end here, Trill was asserting his dominance and playing some mean Reinhardt.
Oh, definitely thumping his chest right now, and you can see the Matrix enveloping him, keeping him safe as he pressed NRG back into that warehouse. Really good play from Team Envy. It was a scrappy fight. It wasn't the cleanest Overwatch, no combos really, but it got the job done. And now Team Envy, they're going to have more tools to continue this point B push.
And so NRG Esports are going to try to take advantage of their ultimate economy right now, as Kevster does have that Graviton Surge. Hello, I'm Halo will have that sound barrier. The Graviton Surge has been thrown out. Earthshatter will be countered and knocked 2 onto the ground. And Zyre's going to be the first to fall for NRG Esports. So they use the grab, they invest into it, and then lose the fight.
Oh, that is really unfortunate. Couldn't quite see if Hello, I'm Halo and Byron were also laid down on the ground. It was a very, very tight death ball for NRG. And Trill may well have caught even the backline in that Earthshatter, which meant there was going to be no saving grace coming through from your Zenyatta or any healing beats from your Lucio. So Team Envy, off the back of a really clean fight now, they're going to be rolling into point 3 with honestly nearly the same time bank as NRG, and this cart has no signs of stopping.
Oh, the Earthshatter is going to go from NRG Esports first, but going to leave everyone standing there for Team Envy. Not going to hit much there. So Graviton Surge now onto Sharp is going to focus down stand at once, so he's just getting bullied both by himself and his internet and the other team, as he's going to be the first to go down. Smex will follow suit, and Team Envy, like you said, matching the pace NRG Esports had coming into this 3rd point.
Yeah, a good target selection from Sharp. He saw the Reinhardt right there, free for the picking. The Diva was a mile away, and even though it was only 1 target, it's one of the most important players on the field. You get that out. The Discord Orb from Crimzo was there to burn that Reinhardt down, and NRG now they're on their last defense.
Oh, wow. Crimzo got some orbs to the head right there, taking below half. And now the Earthshatter is going to get Kevster onto the ground. Sound barrier will be saving everybody from NRG Esports, but there are no support ultimates left for them. Smex is going to throw out that self-destruct, not going to get anything from it. Crimzo's going to have to use that Transcendence to save himself. Team Envy now functioning with no ultimates, so this is just regular old Overwatch here. This is all about aim and some flails as well. Jaru is going to be doing some work, and when he's doing that damage, he's also healing the rest of the team. Team Envy coming out on the top, and at 3 minutes and 18 seconds, they're not going to beat, but they're going to come close.
We saw NRG about facing, trying to take McGravy down. Oh, nobody on the point, and that's going to be a map completion for Envy as well. Look at that, folks. We are heading into extra innings, and Team Envy looking like a whole new team on this attack compared to the defense. And indeed, yes, the supports were caught in that Earthshatter, so that's why we saw none of those support ultimates coming through in this crucial point B fight, I would say. This is kind of one of those moments where you're like, what if that Earthshatter hadn't landed? What if NRG had stopped up that momentum, right? It may well be that the time banks aren't as even as we see them now. Only 17 seconds, excuse me. I'm supposed to be a numbers girl. 17 seconds separating these 2 teams. And it looked, very back and forth on control. And now we're really starting to see Envy coming into their own. Remember, no series wins up until this point, but they are really giving NRG a run for their money.
And so Team Envy coming back. NRG Esports is ahead of them on these standings, and they really, really want to take this victory away from NRG Esports, make them sweat a little bit in terms of this playoff scenarios. Wow, NRG Esports now, though, they know what they'd have to do. They know they have to stop Team Envy, something they weren't able to do here on point A off the back of stand 1, unfortunately having to DC. Now that he's back, they have a full 6. Things might be different this time.
Things could be very different. This is a totally new translation of the very same novel. Same players, same characters, same compositions, but Envy have to know that they may not get lucky this time around. Trill ready to show the enemy Ryan who's who, and stand 1 not going to let any pesky connection problems hold him back this time around. It is the W Mouse 1 game once again, or the Mouse 2 for Trill. Gets that heal pack from Jaru, so that means no clutch healing for Envy for the next couple of seconds, but they might not need it.
Who's who? My name is Trill, my friend. Stand 1 is going to be going down, but Trill's going to go down as well. Hey, I had the introduction, and now I have to go watch The Princess Bride a little later. My name's Anita Montoya. Anyway, McGravy's going to get that DMAC on it to Smex, and so Team Envy looking good on this attack so far. NRG Esports doesn't have a lot of beef to get back on it to at this point, but now that Smex is back into that mech, they have an opportunity to defend, as that tick, I don't believe, was taken just yet. NRG Esports is back, stand 1 is back, but he is low on health. The healing is there. They don't have the throughput thus far. McGravy's going to take that stun to the face, but that means the Reinhardt's going to be safe for another 6 to 7 seconds. Self-destruct is going to land on top of NRG Esports, but only take stand 1 down. That could have been way worth. Earthshatter now is going to go down as well. Transcendence keeping everyone alive for Team Envy, but right now NRG Esports doing a really great job taking some time off the clock. They are unable to maintain on point A, but do take about a minute and a half off the clock of Team Envy.
Hey, sometimes you just need that good old vanilla Overwatch, and there may be a little bit of a connection issue. Once again, we're going to just take a quick pause, but kudos to Envy. They saw that opening and they took it. A well-placed bigger bang combination. You have the Graviton set up into that Diva Bomb. You saw McGravy was lining it up. He was totally ready, and it's not just about finding those opportunities, but what you do afterwards. Follow-through is so important in playing Overwatch right now, and just the ability to not squander any of those windows of opportunity, you know, shows that Envy, you know, even though they're like, oh my god, we've totally finished the map, guys, not getting ahead of themselves, they're going to continue to play some disciplined Overwatch.
Well, you know, it's like when you're playing a piece, right? For all you musicians out there, if you get excited about the thing in the middle, you still have a whole piece to play. You got to finish strong. You got to identify where the best parts are and where you can find them, right? Music's about discovery, and so is Overwatch, right? Like, where is the best place to use this Graviton in this certain moment? And once you identify that, there's a lot that comes after.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is one of those things where you never quite know. There's a lot of what ifs, but there are things that you can control, right? Like, hey, okay, like our Reinhardt's going to charge in really deep and we're going to have his back. The Graviton Surge comes out and you're like, okay, maybe, but I wanted to save my self-destruct for another time. No, this is the play. We're going for the bigger bang, and it worked in Envy's favor this time around. NRG, though, they do have the ultimate advantage coming into this fight. Kevster may well drop this grab early.
Oh, he uses it very early, gets very low because of it, but the health bars for Team Envy are just leading right now. Stand 1 finally showing up here, getting 3 kills and an Earthshatter in the process. So NRG Esports are going to get this defense, and there's only a minute left for Team Envy.
Yeah, that's the dangerous thing. The time bank melting like ice cream in the sun right now. Oh, and then the long-range stagger from Byron, waiting until the last possible moment. That's going to be more precious time off of the clock for Team Envy, and NRG, they have the ability. This Earthshatter could just stop them up right out of spawn.
But it has to actually hit. We've seen some, you know, attempted cheeky shatters in the past, but they have all whiffed, I think, so far. So let's see if Stand 1's going to be able to get one on his own. So they're going to give them just a little bit of space. Stand 1's looking for the perfect opportunity. They're trying to get that shield down. The shield bash, I believe, has been used, so that is on cooldown. And so Stand 1 not having that opportunity. Trill's going to match that Earthshatter here in just a second, but the sound barrier is going to be a big one from Team Envy. They really want to take this offensively. Trill's going to get the kill, but Smex is going to follow it up with the kill onto Sharp. Now 2 kills for NRG Esports. The Graviton Surge has been thrown out as well. Team Envy struggling to stay alive on this payload with only 9 seconds left and a transcending Zenyatta. There is no way they come back into this fight and win it against NRG Esports, but they're going to try.
McGravy still has a mech to burn here. Trill going to be charging back into this fight. Fire is down though, so that's going to be no sustained healing, but the bubble is there. The Reinhardt is still alive.
And so the Reinhardts are going to say hello to each other. Trill going to take it very low. Now because they're charging into each other, they both fall down. That's going to be better for the one that has the more members on his team. Round 3 complete. Team Envy do take A, but don't make much progress on streets.
Not too bad, though, for Team Envy. At least you have that buffer to give here. You can play with the objective, giving up some of that space, but a really back and forth fight here. Trill getting burned down. Crimzo just a second too late to save his Reinhardt, and sometimes it is just those micro transactions, or transactions. It is kind of a micro transaction, right? It's like, I'll give this for you if you give this for me. You know, you bait out an ability. And
I'd call that a reach.
A reach. All right. Okay. Well, a micro reach really decided that last fight, and sometimes it does come down to those split-second reactions. Team Envy, they're going to be doing their best to hold NRG at bay. There's not too much difference in that time bank, so that's going to be working in the defender's favor.
And so NRG Esports knows exactly what they have to do to try to tie this up. A Team Envy looking to push them into overtime with no map wins. They want to be up 2-0. The momentum has been shifted onto Team Envy's side so far. This map, it was NRG Esports on their attack, but all of a sudden Team Envy pretty much matched them on their attack, and now they've taken point A. Looking at these team comps, you know, again, those double snipers probably won't be happening. Maybe, just maybe, but what are you thinking?
A double sniper would be pretty risky to run here. You have a lot of reward potential with that one shot, but with all of the shielding and Team Envy's, going to be expecting something hard and heavy coming out of the spawn, as NRG only need to take 1 point and a little bit. They're probably going to be playing it safe.
Kevster making some contact on some of those lobbed particle grenades there. That's going to help him out a little bit on that hold charge. Not as much as Sharp has been making contact, though, and it looks like the NRG Esports are going to try to get back onto this point. This is the dance that we talk about all the time. Oh, and some displacement onto the Reinhardt. Smex is going to be going down. NRG Esports had an opportunity there, and it looks like Trill was displaced, but no one was able to follow up with anything because NRG Esports was following up by going back to spawn.
That boop was almost too enthusiastic. Rocketed him across the map away from all of NRG and out of harm's way. So Envy, they have weathered this storm here, but NRG have more coming. It is going to be an all-out siege battle. The good news is Team Envy won that fight, so they'll be up in terms of ultimate generation. First online may well be this Graviton Surge from Sharp. So NRG, Byram, he's got to work out those Discord orbs, those volleys, try and work up to that Transcendence early, because that will be the key to winning out those big tank ultimate battles.
Yeah, NRG Esports getting close to that 2-minute warning. They're going to be looking to be aggressive, but their Reinhardt is very low. The particle barrier is going to keep Stand One alive. The shield bash, oh my goodness, shield bash landed, but he is still alive somehow. Eventually, Stand One will be going down. Air Shatter is going to take Kevster out as well. And it looks like Team Envy are going to maintain this defense. NRG Esports having a hard time getting to those ultimates.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult uphill battle for NRG. You saw right there Sharp taking that opportunity. Stand One getting tagged and bagged by Crimzo. You had that Discord orb, no problem for Sharp to laser him down, and a great Earth Shatter from Trill to follow up. You're going to throw that Earth Shatter out there because you know your team has 5 more ultimates behind you.
And so they're rocking 5 right now coming into this fight. Team Envy really prepared for this defense. The Graviton Surge is going to lock NRG Esports up. Self-destruct is in front of them. Hello, I'm Halo is going to fall victim to it. There's only 1 minute and 15 seconds left for NRG Esports to try to take point A.
Hello, I'm Halo with a beautiful displacing boop, nullifying all of Trill's charge damage, but unfortunately gave his life for it. There was no way for him to escape. Now, though, there will be the Graviton Surge drawn out of Envy, so no longer that threat on the board. NRG have their own black hole alongside the sound barrier. Hello, I'm Halo wasn't able to use it in that last fight, so NRG still have a chance.
Unable, maybe that was a blessing in disguise. The Graviton Surge from Kester is going to start things off and grab about 4 members of Team Envy, but no kills are going to be shown for it. Self-destruct there. The shield bash was attempted, but it didn't make contact, as Crimzo is going to land a really good orb onto Izire. So that's a 6v5 for Team Envy. No ultimates on either side, so NRG Esports really needs to try to find a pick here very soon, or they're going to choose to reset. Kevster cannot die, and if he does, this is pretty much over for them. 25 seconds is enough to come back, though, with the stagger.
Not as a full 6, though, and that's going to be be the difficulty. They'll have to take a man disadvantage, fight the Discord Orb onto Smex. What a beautiful boop from Fire right there in that last fight. You saw 2 members of NRG flying across the map. That was from a great boop from that Team Envy defending Lucio to split up that death ball. Smex now onto the Hammond, going to be trying to roll into some kind of Christmas miracle.
And so NRG Esports only has a Transcendence and no Reinhardt. The Graviton Surge stops Smex pile drive in mid-air. The Earth Shatter will be knocking Kevster and Byram onto the ground. The pin is going to be calling it quits for NRG Esports as Team Envy do not allow them to grab this first point and will be taking Hollywood and moving up 2-0 before halftime.
That will be the win Team Envy has been salivating for this entire season. They have never looked so steady, so assured and dominant. When we saw NRG put together that defense right off of that point A, we were like, oh man, this is gonna be a tough defense for Envy. They're gonna have to do this, ultimate rotating and everything. But yo, we never really even considered the full hold potential right here. And Envy, is this the most solid they've looked the entire season? This is such a callback to the first game of today, where we had a very early underdog 2-0, and you know, who knows? Actually, excuse me, that was with Mayhem Academy yesterday. So say it ain't so, who knows? This is Matrix, is there a glitch, deja vu, but really hoping that Team Envy can maintain this momentum coming out of the half.
Well, the difference between, well, there wasn't, it's a better comparison yesterday with that Mayhem Academy game, but like the deal here is, especially today with second win in XL2, the teams were, I think, like even though they were both on the top, people thought XL2 were, you know, way separated from a second win. These two teams, I believe, are a little closer in terms of that skill level, and so while we were up 2-0, I do not think that it's like on the back of these two teams are separated by a ton of skill. You know what I mean? These two teams, I think, are actually even in skill. Team Envy just hasn't been able to be consistent with it.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment. Team Envy finally able to link up all of those ultimates right here, one after another. NRG just could not help the tide of ultimates coming down, crashing onto them. They had already expended all of their support ultimates multiple times in those fights, and you know, there's just no relief to be had.
Well, and it's so good to see Trill finally like popping off here, because he played so well in World Cup. You know,
not just last year, 2017.
Yeah, and it's just, I think, just been adjusting to life here in the States. The jet lag probably got to him, so it's been so good.
The water swirls the other way down.
Yeah,
like
that's
crazy.
Super weird, right? It's very off-putting. But it's gonna be it for us for this first half. We're gonna get to halftime. NRG Esports down 0-2 right now to Team Envy. Let's see what's gonna happen here after the half in 6 minutes.